You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it.
Philly special. Ready? Here we go. Easy. Kill. Play.
But that was a taste of what he was supposed to be.
Last year hurts.
Oh, and how this will all work out. Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see the first play if they don't try to give the football to Terrell Owens.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Trending for Four Quarters right here on DSM Media. Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. I know some of you are watching the Sixers game. I am as well. I got it on in the background. Welcome to the show tonight. We are brought to you by Manscaped. Use promo code TRENDING, TRENDING, for 20% off and free shipping. Get you 20% off. The holidays are coming. Make sure you check it out. Every man in your life will appreciate it, and you will too. So you make sure you check out Manscaped and use that promo code TRENDING. If you're watching right now on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, wherever it is, make sure you're sharing it out, hitting subscribe and follow, and yes, comment it. It's Showtime Mark Moschitelli. Did I say that right? Moschitelli?
Yes.
All right, so what we're doing tonight, we got a different kind of show here. The first 45 minutes, I put out a tweet the other day. I want to get the fans. I want to give a fan forum together. The best of the best, the people that are passionate to follow the show, that follow me on Twitter. I put that tweet out, and dude, I got a dozen messages right away from people wanting to come on the show. So I picked the first three. We got Mark Moschitelli, a.k.a. Philly Eagles fan. We got AB, host of the Open Gym Pod, and he's also on Philly Sports Network. And we got Fly Eagles Fly John.
Let's go.
I love it. I know there's a lot of energy in this room. So we'll start with Mark.
Do it.
We'll go to AB,
Let's
then we'll go to
get it.
John. Introduce yourselves. Each get 30 seconds to a minute. Who you are, where you're from, and why you wanted to come on the show to talk Eagles with me.
My name is Mark. I am Philly born and bred. I live down in South Jersey now. I'm one of the biggest Eagles fans that are out there. Every Sunday I do a live broadcast on my Facebook for my friends. I get fired up. One of the greatest days of my life was the Super Bowl win and the parade. And it didn't get much better, and it's been downhill ever since. We got to figure out a way to get these Eagles back up to where they belong. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna get into that. AB, tell everybody about you and where you're at. And I know you got some shows you do and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's your boy AB. Currently work for PhillySportsNetwork.com as a contributing writer and reporter on the 76ers. And I also have my own podcast interview series called the Open Gym Podcast that is on Instagram and YouTube right now. And when it comes to Philly, that's just, I'm born and bred, North Philly, born and bred, seeing the hard times, the good times, the ups and downs, everything. And we even seen the pinnacle of it all when it comes to the Super Bowl. It's freezing cold at that Super Bowl parade, but I mean, it was well worth it because for that first one coming into town and to see it in my lifetime, it was great. So I'm definitely here ready to rock out, definitely here ready to talk birds, and definitely here to just interact with you guys and let's get it on.
All right, and John, Mr. Fly Eagles Fly, you said you love spontaneity.
Yeah,
you know, this is your chance here. Tell them everything about you.
Hailing from Orlando, Florida, so I'm a little out of place here, but yeah, my first Eagles game was in 2004. It was actually the Steelers and Eagles. We were both undefeated. Steelers took it. I think it was like 23-6 or something. That was my first Eagles game I'd ever watched, and I was hooked basically from the get go. So I've been.
You didn't start as an Eagles fan,
man. So I took that L right away. First season as an Eagles fan, we lose to the Patriots.
Yeah, that was a big loss that game.
Yeah, man, that was brutal. But man, I live and breathe Eagles. I got buddies at work. We go to lunch almost every day and talk about birds, and I mean that's 70% of my life on social media and everything. So I do multiple things, stuff like this. I've been on a few different podcasts too. So I just love doing this stuff, talking Eagles. And I could talk about this shit all day. Me and you, all the four of us could go for probably till like 2 a.m.
We absolutely could. So. And you know what? If this goes well, maybe I'll make this a regular foursome here.
Hey,
once every so often.
Let's go.
I'm all for it.
This might be an interview process for you guys. We're expanding DSM Media. We're trying to take it to the moon. You know, we're doing a lot. We got 15 shows, 7 days a week, and we want 2-3 shows every single day of the week. So you never know. This could be an interview for you guys as well. So
I think this should be a new hashtag, to the moon.
What? To the moon? That's right. I mean, it's not doggy to the moon anymore. It's DSM to the moon, you know.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's dive right into it. We got about till 9:40, 9:45 till I bring on our next guest, which just for those watching, Pro Level Sports Agency. It's Buddy Walters, nephew of Buddy Ryan. He runs a sports agency. I'm going to have one of his clients on, Kareem Leaver. He's going to be joining me to talk about his football journey and how he's trying to get into the pros and stuff like that. He's a really interesting kid with a lot of great stories. So make sure if you're following Pro Level Sports and that's what you're waiting for, he'll be on about 9:40, 9:45 after I wrap up with this crazy crowd right here. So make sure you tune into that later in the show. But we're going to start right now. Before we get into the Chargers week 9, I want to get each and every one of your opinions on the state of the Eagles right now. Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, and company, and which one of them, if both, if none of them, are really should be part of the future of this team, you know, and this organization going forward. We started with Mark first. We'll go backwards. We'll start with John this time, and we'll go counter this time. John, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts. Should they and are they a part of the future of this team?
So Nick Sirianni is so I've watched a lot of film just over the last 7 weeks, really the first 6 games, because that's kind of when like Jalen Hurts was doing pretty much carrying the team, and that's what Sirianni wanted to do. So I wanted to evaluate that, and it took a lot. Basically, all I was looking at was, is Nick Sirianni's scheme smart? Is it working? Are receivers getting open? Are we creating space like he said he wanted to do in the offseason? We had Ertz and Goddard running some 11 personnel and stuff. So I wanted to see if that was working. And when you look at the tape, dude, Sirianni's passing schemes, I tweeted this a few weeks ago. His pass concepts are good. Devontae Smith, someone is open every play, right? So when you start looking at that piece of it, you're like, okay, the concepts are there. And then when you look at Jalen Hurts and the way he's operating the offense and kind of being asked to, it's almost not fair because it's just not who Jalen Hurts is. He's not fit to run this offense. And Sirianni inherited Jalen Hurts and has, I think, done a pretty good job considering what Jalen Hurts is capable of. Right now, he just doesn't have the arm talent. And you could go back on Twitter back in January and look at my timeline. I said from the beginning, Jalen Hurts' ceiling, arm talent-wise, is capped. It just is. He's just not a thrower of the football. And he makes a lot of plays, leaves the pocket early too. So there's just some things. I think Jalen Hurts is a bridge quarterback. I don't think Sirianni's completely sold on him. And I think next year, I do think he's the starter almost by default, because I don't think in the draft there's a whole ton of talent, a lot of athletes from the quarterback position. If you're looking at, I mean, guys are freaking athletes all over the place. Liberty quarterback's an athlete, Ole Miss quarterback's an athlete. But again, I just don't think Sirianni wants that type of playmaker at quarterback. I think he wants someone like Phillip Rivers, who's more athletic, to run his scheme and move the ball down the field. If you got a guy like Devontae,
kind of sounds like Carson Wentz a little bit.
Well, Carson may have ran it okay. I don't know, man, because there's a lot of anticipation throws. And I know Carson's like a curse word in Philly, so I don't like to talk about him too much.
I try to avoid him as well.
Man.
Hey, AB, are you on the same side of the equation as John, or do you got a different opinion on this situation here?
I'm sort of kind of aligned, but I veer off just a little bit. When it comes to me, I will agree. When it comes to Jalen Hurts, I do believe that he is limited. When you look around the NFL and you look around at the other, you ain't even got to go to the upper echelon of quarterbacks like the Tom Brady's and Aaron Rodgers. Just look at some of the younger talent that's in the NFL, like the Joe Burrows this week, Justin Herbert, things of that nature like that. you literally just see the gap in between as far as when it comes to arm talent. Literally, when I watch weekends looking at the other quarterbacks in the league, you literally just see the difference. Like they're just flinging that thing like it's with effort, it's effortless, essentially like that. And Jalen Hurts is just like it's always a struggle, or like if his feet aren't set, it isn't going to be a great ball. So I do believe that there's a cap, and I was never really sold. And you brought up Carson Wentz, so we're going to go there. I was a Carson Wentz guy when he was here. I just don't believe someone just
Hashtag Wentz is elite. That's what I used to say.
I'm trying to tell him, but we're gonna leave that alone. Though I just wanted to touch it just a little bit. But when it comes to the coaching, Nick Sirianni, when he like you said, when he said about the scheme and things, I do see wide receivers and players actually getting open. The schemes do work at times. Our quarterback just isn't making the right reads, or just isn't able to get the ball to them. But where I veer off at is he might be good at that, but to be a head coach to me, I don't. Is one, being a leader of men, and two, also being able to adjust on the fly. And I know it's a learning process, but I look at games and I see certain things that are happening. I feel like those are things you should just know, like when to accept a penalty or not. On, like, just like you said just the other day when it was fourth down and what, 3, but you sit there and accept the penalty because you think, oh, we've been doing it good, so we're gonna push them back and we get a couple. No, like, force them to fourth down, punt the ball, get the ball, and even if they do want to go for it, that's more pressure on the defense to actually execute the play than for you to actually have to stop what they're doing. So when it comes to in-game adjustments and just coaching overall, I'm not with all the plant where a potted plant and let it grow and let it sprout and let it grow, like all that stuff. Like,
Hey, it worked.
We have veteran leaders. Okay, good.
Hey, I got to catch up because I want to go back to John in a minute, and I got to get Mark in on this. But you bring something up good there, AB. You talk about like the in-game adjustments and that fourth down, decline that penalty. It's where a Jim Caldwell or another veteran presence on that coaching team would have been so much.
You hit
we would
the
have
nail on
seen
the
so
head,
much more potentially out of Nick Sirianni, Jonathan Gannon, Jalen Hurts. If we had a veteran assistant coach with Nick Sirianni,
I agree.
Hire
yes, sir.
all rookies. Everybody's in their position for the first time in their careers. So that's a point that I've been reiterating that literally for 12, 14 weeks now. And I'm glad that other people are getting on board with that thought process.
And I agree. I'm gonna be real quick. I know we gotta move on. I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm not going to disagree with that totally, because, like I said, to have a veteran, like I said, the only veteran coach we have on the team right now is Jeff Stoutland, who's the offensive line coach. So he's not the offensive. He is, because he got people like that playing well. So so he's not necessarily the offensive line coaches and coming to the head coach like, head coach. No, you shouldn't.
He could be the defensive coordinator. We've seen offensive line coaches become defensive coordinators before. Mark, that's a great segue.
Leave one
alone. Throw that one right to Mark right there.
No, we don't.
Leave one alone.
Where's Mark Moscatelli? I keep trying to say your name. I'm going to get it right at some point.
Dude, you hit
where
the nail
are
on the head,
you?
man. You're good.
Where are you with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni? Same page as these guys, or you got a different thought on it?
For Hurts, I don't think he's set up for success. He doesn't have an NFL arm. He can't get the ball out to the wide receivers deep. He's relying on those dump passes, the tight end, and more so the legs. If he doesn't see anything right away, he's running. You just can't sustain an offense like that for long term. Now, what I have a problem with is the coaching staff, because they came in and said a couple things. Sirianni said that he was going to tailor an offense to the players that he had. Gannon said the same thing, and I don't see it. Sirianni, as a head coach, I think he'd be a fantastic high school coach. He is not cut out for the NFL.
Love it.
And listen, AB, you're a Philly guy. I'm a Philly guy.
Yes, sir.
This stuff with the shirts and the sayings, this stuff doesn't work.
T-shirt gate lives on. If Scooter McGill is watching, T-shirt gate lives on.
It does not work in the city. I go back to Gabe Kapler with the Phillies. That stuff does not work. I'm sorry. It's not what Philly is about. I'm not asking you to be Buddy Ryan, but that just does not work.
Right.
Now, if this guy wants to have a prolonged career here in Philly, Phil, like you said, like Gannon has to go. I don't believe he is the answer. That is a soft defense, and it's worse than what Schwartz is. Hire somebody who has legit experience so he can take his mind off of the defense, so he can concentrate on the offense, tailor an offense to the players that they have. He can't. The biggest mistake they did, and you said it, was hire all these rookie coaches. You can't do that. You need. If you were to hire somebody, and I'm just throwing a name out there, Wade Phillips as your defensive coordinator, you got somebody. You honestly, you don't have to worry about the defense now. He will tailor a defense to the players that they have, and he has head coaching experience. He can give you basic advice on how to be a head coach. Albeit he wasn't a great head coach, but still, you've got something there that you can lean on. I don't see any of it, and this is going to blow up in his face, and. He could be a one and done coach. I really think so.
I thought that for a few weeks, and I kind of keep teetering back and forth whether he'll be one and done. It's not Jeffrey Lurie's style to be one and done.
Right.
So that I've gotten two different opinions from the three of you on this situation and the state of the Eagles. And I want to go back to John's point. He said the concepts are good that Nick Sirianni's running, but it seems like to me, John, you're putting the onus on Jalen Hurts not being able to execute the concepts. So the topic I've been bringing up and banging around on Twitter or on shows for a few weeks now, it wasn't just last week or before last week. I've been saying it for 2 or 3 weeks. Look, I know Gardner Minshew, he's not the answer as the starting quarterback either. But is there a theory where you throw Gardner Minshew in for one game, whether it's this week or whether it's week 18, just 1 week, so that you can see whether Nick Sirianni is the problem with a different quarterback or whether Jalen Hurts is the problem and a different quarterback makes Nick Sirianni's offense look better? Do any of you buy into that theory that, you got to try to mix it up a little bit there to see who really is the problem? Because honestly, it's either Sirianni or Hurts. It can't be both.
And me personally, I will give some fruition with that because we stated it earlier. Guys do get open. I'm not saying they're elite at it or it's all the time, but we watch the games every week. We've seen it. Just last week, I can't remember what play it was specifically, but I know he was down in the red zone, and I think he threw it away or tried to force an end zone, but you had Goddard coming across the middle towards the end zone. It's like stuff like that. If you had a quarterback that actually went through his progressions and actually went through 1 receiver, 2 receiver, 3 receiver, then this offense can be better. Because I do believe we have enough talent on this team. Not saying to win playoff games and win Super Bowls and things of that nature like that. But as far as us being more functional and more capable of moving the ball, as you see, if we had a better quarterback, I do believe this. Because again, offensive line been playing well each week, getting better and better and better. As you can see last week, run game, like you said, wide receivers do get open. If you just have the quarterback, that was the problem last year. Then people say they wanted to bench Wentz, and if they had a better quarterback, we would have been a better team, and that was with lesser talent than we have on the offensive side this year.
John's shaking his head no, or shaking his head for something there.
Yeah, because what I'm getting at with shaking my head is what he's saying. People who thought that putting in a different quarterback would have made it different. We had what's his name tackling his own quarterback in the Ravens game.
I mean,
like
put
Peyton Manning back there. He's going to
be too,
That was one game.
I mean, dude, the offensive line was awful.
The Eagles need to figure out.
I mean, just touching on
no, it was last year. Yes, I agree.
The thing is, like, when you look at when Hurts, anytime Hurts rolls out or he goes to throw the ball, where is he usually throwing the ball? The guys are crossing the field, right? If you go back and look at that passing touchdown to Kenny Gainwell, not in the Lions game, the game prior, they cleared out the space. Gainwell's right over the middle, easy throw, easy touchdown. The space was there. The play worked to perfection. There is a lot of that going on, and Hurts is not seeing the field well. I don't know if it's that he doesn't trust himself to make the touch throws that he needs to make. Because if you look at the Bucs game when they were doing the RPO deal, the end's crashing down because he knows behind him the linebackers are staying pat because he can't make the throw. Right. So if you're gonna do that type of stuff, man, you gotta either make the throw or just keep running with your legs. But eventually, you're gonna have to throw the ball and do something else. And Hurts.
So do you think another quarterback, a different quarterback, even if it's Minshew or even if Flacco was still here, would make a difference in learning? If
Flacco's burnt,
I think they need to make a decision on what they want to do. Do they want to win football games, or do they want to see what Hurts is all about? If they want to win football games, you should already know that Hurts has some deficiencies. Run the damn ball. Take pressure off the quarterback. Take the pressure off the quarterback. Lengthen your drives to keep your defense and Gannon's defense off the field to try to win games. If they're just basically running off the season, then I guess you put Hurts in every position to throw the ball to see what he really, really has. And I think the minute you go away from Hurts and try out Gardner Minshew, like it's all over for Hurts. That's it. The minute you bench him.
Jalen Hurts to me is a guy. I mean, he's been benched before. He's been pushed aside before, and he keeps coming back. I don't think putting Hurts on the bench for one game or even half a game to see, what you have in Nick Sirianni is going to be the end of Jalen Hurts' career. We know, I mean, if George is watching on Twitter, we can't see his comments. He'll say this season's already over, and he'll already say Jalen Hurts is not the guy. You know what I mean? We're building towards the future. So if Jalen Hurts is not the guy, we got to see if Nick Sirianni is. So literally 2 quarters I'm asking for. I'm asking for a whole game, but really 2 quarters give me of Minshew. Not because Minshew's the answer. He is definitely not the answer at quarterback. But we need to know if Nick Sirianni is the answer at head coach and as an offensive play caller. So you got to try something else. John?
Well, I think what fans should be really encouraged about. I don't see really anyone talking about this, which is kind of disappointing. The players took very personally the fact that we were all having fun with the flower thing, and they went out there and kicked the Lions' ass. So they're playing for their head coach. It's not that these guys have not bought in. There's something about Sirianni that they do like, whether it's the deep thought, the deep thinking, whatever it is. They have not given up on Sirianni at all. They are playing for him. It's not that. It's just.
I saw somebody say today on Twitter, guys. I saw someone say it's not like we won 17-16 against the 0-7 Lions. We won 44-6. We smoked them. We did what we were supposed to do, and we crushed them. So that's a good thing. You know what I mean? If it was like a 21-17 or 17-16, like close, hard-fought game, we might feel differently today. But we smoked them, plain and simple.
Now, it also is still the Lions.
It is still the Lions. It was not the 72 Dolphins. It was the 0-8 Lions.
And the other thing, too, there are some cracks in that what you say they're still playing for Sirianni. Maybe it's more of a Gannon thing, but Fletcher Cox came out and had some things to say. McLeod had a couple things to say. And those guys are tenured team leaders. Regardless of what you think about Cox, and he's not, really playing up to what his expectations are, he's still the guy on the line. Rodney McLeod's the leader of the defense. So is it a Sirianni thing or a Gannon thing? I think that remains to be seen. I think it's probably a little more so Gannon. But everything's fine until it's not. And, winning does cure a lot of things. But honestly, I don't see many more wins on the schedule if they continue to play like they've done the entire season.
And just to touch on that just real fast.
No, go for it.
I do agree that they still playing hard, but me personally, I attribute that to we still do have, and he just mentioned it, Mark, we do still have veterans on this team, like a Fletcher Cox, like a Rodney McLeod, like a Jason Kelsey, that if it was just and don't get me wrong, I don't care what no one say, you still have players that's on that team that rolled their eyes when they was looking at that, when they listened to those speeches and things of that nature. But with these veteran players that they have, they do command a lot of respect. So if these veterans are sitting there saying, "Hey, young guys, let's go out there, let's play, let's get a win," and stuff, they're going to follow. You know how these young guys are. They're going to follow the veterans. Now, it would have been bad if after those comments, like a Rodney McLeod, like a Fletcher Cox, if they acted upon how they felt about with those comments, I guarantee them players that look up to them guys definitely would have followed suit with that. As like, well, if it's okay for them to feel like that, if it's okay for them to not care about or agree with that stuff, it's okay for me because I really don't like it, but I just go along with it. So that's just what I want to add with that.
No, that's very fair. All right, so we are at the unofficial halfway point. It would have been the halfway point, but they added the 17th game. We got the Chargers at home, 4:00 on Sunday. I've practiced this. The Los Angeles Chargers. I promised I wouldn't say San Diego one time tonight. And this is the start of the second half of the schedule. You know, where it gets easier. You got the Chargers. You got the Von Miller-less Broncos. And you got the Saints with no quarterback. Then you got all those really weak teams. You know, turning it around to an extent, not playoff runs, not Super Bowl run turning it around. But where we could start to see some progress with this team starts this week with the Chargers. So we'll start. We can start with you at AB. You know,
Yes,
if you had to put your finger on a key, and I kind of feel like we'll all have the same key to the game. But if you had to put a key to the game today, you know, for them to win on Sunday, what would be the key for the Eagles to win or at least stay competitive against a really good Chargers team?
Well, with me, we probably are going to be the same. For me, the offensive line, going back to that last game, that's not a total fluke in that. We do know that was the Lions.
That is what this offensive line is.
Yes, they are maulers. They are okay at pass block, but what we seen Sunday really showed we've been looking for it all year, their identity. We really should establish ourselves as a run-first team, rather it's with Hurts, rather it's with all the running backs as well. But definitely, if we can, and the Chargers are a good team and good defensively, but I don't look at them as a great, and the numbers can probably not back it up, but just my eye test looking at it, I don't look at them as a great run-stopping team out there.
They're actually ranked now after last week as the worst run-stopping team in the league. Based off of last results, they were third. They went from like second to worst after last week. So this is a team, and it's been like I kind of feel like the Eagles have played one of the worst rush defenses like 7 weeks in a row now. And last week was the first time they actually capitalized.
Exactly, because literally like you said, every team we played, just about every team we played up until this point, showed those deficiencies, and it was just like, hey guys, like if we run more, that would make it easier for the offensive line, who at one point was struggling, for the running backs to start getting some momentum, start getting some rhythm, and then to actually help out the quarterback instead of having your quarterback throw 30 plus times a game, knowing he's limited in what he can do.
Hell, we went up against the #1 rush defense in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a few weeks ago. And in the second half, they ran the ball 9 times and gained like 56 yards against that was more than they had given up in an entire game previously, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And I was there. I was watching it.
This line is built to run block. Mark, is that the only key to the game, or do you have anything else?
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep Justin Herbert off the field. How are you going to do that? You got to run the ball. I think they got to run the ball 40 times. Run the ball. You got 3 running backs that can gain some yards on there. Scott, Howard, and Gainwell. Just keep cycling them in and out. Take the pressure off of Hurts. Keep that defense off the field and keep Herbert off the field, and you might be able to win. Oh, by the way, the Eagles are 0-3 at home. Not good. That's not something that's acceptable here in Philadelphia.
Not at all. John, do you have any other keys, or are we going to just go 4 for 4? I mean, I'm going to bring up other keys to the game, but we'll see if you got something else other than just run the ball, run the ball, run the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
the other thing too, guys. I mean, Justin Herbert. I looked at their stats. He's had 2 really dud games back to back. Now, is he going to have 3 in a row, or is he going to light it up? I don't know. I don't want a chance to keep him off the field.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we're real good against the pass. I'm not too worried about Herbert going out there and throwing for 350 or something like that. I just don't. Mike Williams is kind of banged up a little bit, and outside of him, I mean, obviously they have Keenan Allen's hurt, right? Or is he still? He's playing.
He's scheduled to play. I don't know.
I'm about to say I thought he's playing.
Yeah, he's playing, but he's questionable going into Sunday every single week. but
So
then he plays every.
the key for me really is the defensive line. If they can continue to rotate and eat like they were, Milton Williams had an awesome game. Teron Jackson even had a sack. So that you're starting to see the rotation on the defensive line, and them guys really starting, I think, to click a little bit. And I think last game it kind of showed like, hey, we're going to eat. We're just going to go after the quarterback. And I think if they can do that, they've been a lot better on the penalties the last few weeks too. They haven't been killing themselves with penalties, and the Chargers are not a disciplined team. That they're one of the league's worst in penalties. They make a lot of them. So if you can just get them a little bit rattled, obviously you got stated the obvious, run the ball. That's very obvious. But Hurts is going to have to make some plays too, whether that's, just getting in the single back and maybe running a little play action or running some RPOs just to say, hey, I'm going to run the ball too. And then maybe make some play action throws. Hurts is one of the league's worst play action quarterbacks, though. So that's the only
he's
thing.
One of the worst play action quarterbacks because before last week they weren't running the ball, and I've been saying it since week one. RPOs and play action means nothing if you don't run the ball.
Yeah.
Now if they start establishing that identity as a run team, now all of a sudden that play action starts to become more effective. It becomes a little bit more, deceiving for the defenses. I'm going to throw some other things out to you guys. Something we saw a little bit last game, a little bit more of was a little bit more blitzing, from the and not just the front four, but the entire team. Jonathan Gannon actually, called like more than one blitz in the entire game. I don't think they can do that this week as much because you still have Austin Eckler, and you're going to need to see the linebackers step up to stop Austin Eckler. And like I think it was you, John, that said you're not as concerned about the wide receivers and stopping them, but I get concerned about tight ends and running backs. With our linebackers. So I need to see our linebackers and safeties or whoever's going to be that shadow on Austin Eckler step up and shut him down. Because if that's the case, whoever that is, that's your blitzer. That's your fifth blitzer that's going to be covering Austin Eckler. They need to really be really effective in stopping him. We don't need him having a 10-catch, 120-yard game like he's capable of. We need to have one of the games like where DeAndre Swift last week, who's a similar type of running back. He had, 5 catches for 24 yards? We need to see a similar effort in stopping the running back out of the backfield. They don't have an type tight end. So we need to stop Austin Eckler, and that's really key to me.
Yeah, if they can get off to a quick start, I think if they can get a quick lead too, I think that's going to really help them kind of prevent the Chargers from getting into screen mode and doing a lot of these things with Eckler. If they can get up, 10-13-0 or 10-13-3 or something like that and kind of control the game a little bit, I think that kind of tempers the big plays and then kind of takes Eckler out of the game a little bit and allows the defensive line to get upfield more and do some things. So that's what they got to do is put pressure on Herbert, rotate them guys in there.
I was actually really surprised last week when they put up on the screen during the game that the Eagles were one of the top scoring teams on like opening drives. It just, they seem like they get off to such a slow start, but they do actually score a lot on that first drive. It's the second and third drive.
They don't do anything afterwards.
It
just shuts down instantly.
Yeah, that's the opposite of Doug Peterson, right? Doug Peterson never scored in the first half.
Exactly. It's the first drive and the last 3 drives of the game where they were successful before last week. All right, so Mark, we'll start with you. Will they win this week? And again, you brought up that they were 0-3 at the Link this year so far. Chris Romanelli is a season ticket holder and one of the on the season ticket advisory board. You guys aren't following him on Twitter. He's great. He's just like me, really honest, not hot take kind of Twitter guy and Eagles fan. He was actually the Eagles rep to go to the Super Bowl. They drew randomly, a season ticket holder to go to the Super Bowl in 2017, and he was the winner. And his pinned tweet, the video, it's if you're a grown man and you don't cry watching him get presented with those tickets, you're not a real man, because I cried watching it 20 times. So he's a great guy. But he said, look, I can't remember the last time I was at the Link and they actually won a game. So,
thought it was just me.
Do they get off the schneid this week, Mark?
If they run the ball and take what they learned in Detroit to help, put up a 44 spot on them, if they build on that and run the ball, I think they could win. I think it's going to be close, though. I'm going to say 21-20 Eagles. Probably a late score to win it, and that place will rock.
Okay. I mean, if they need a late touchdown to win that game, the Link will be. And it's a 4:00 game, so the tailgating time frame, I mean, it's not a 1:00 game. At 4:00, those people are going to be lubricated to the extreme.
Yeah.
That Link will be jumping if they win 21-20 at the end of the game like that.
I would have felt a little bit better if the game was at 1. You got a West Coast
Yes.
team coming.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, it's at 4 o'clock. I mean, aside from the flight, I mean, it shouldn't screw them up too much.
Absolutely.
But I do think they'll end up pulling it out, albeit it's probably be a pretty close score. But look for the first victory at the link for this year.
Absolutely. All right, AB. Where do you got them? I'm writing these scores down, guys, just so you know you're all going to be tagged on my Twitter with your score prediction. Just so you know, I'm going to make sure everyone knows, and I can call you out if you're wrong, just so you know.
And I'm sitting there like, I feel like just in my head right now, because like everything is like, because for some reason, I don't know why. Like you said, it's nothing really saying that they should win, because on paper, obviously, you look at the Chargers, like they should be beating this team. But I really do believe you're going to see some changes, because that's one thing I've seen through this year, that when something happens, the next week they try to correct those things and try to adjust. Like we said, it took them long enough. We were talking about running the ball. They finally seen that it was successful. So it's like, you know what? Let's stick to this and just run the ball. Like you said, Jalen Hurts only threw the ball 14 times last week. So I do believe that they're getting a little more of a footing, I guess. I'm not too worried about the wide receivers, like he said earlier. I am worried about the linebackers. Like you said, we released Wilson today, actually. Released Wilson today. If we can, the Chargers offense goes through Eckler. If we can just, like you say, slow him down just a little bit, and they can't work off them play actions, they can't work off those screens and things of that nature, I do believe that we can keep this game close. And I believe that with the new, I like TJ Edwards. I said it earlier. I believe I like how he plays downhill more than what the other linebackers were doing. You seen that last week on run plays. Even at a fault at times, he got drawn into play action that time. But I just like the fact that he's not waiting to get blocked. He's going to go attack the ball carrier. So with stuff like that, if they can just hold that up a little bit, and with the defensive line actually finding a groove, and when they start eating, that next week they can build on that and keep on going. So if they can keep it close, and I believe they'll keep it close at home, I believe the Eagles they'll pull this out, and I got the Eagles winning 24-21 on a field goal, ending the game.
All right. John, you're on the clock now.
Yeah, I got, so the key for me is going to be red zone, and it's going to be the discipline type stuff. So I don't think the Eagles are going to have problems moving the ball. And the big if is going to be if Sirianni continues to even just somewhat do, because let's face it, we can't run the ball like we did against the Lions, against the Chargers, like that, to that ratio. That's just not feasible.
Yeah,
so
you definitely have to pass the ball a little
that's not
bit
happening.
more.
Yeah.
As long as they have a good balance, I think they're going to move the ball fine. So that for me, the key is going to be the red zone. Without Zach Ertz and having 2 tight ends out there, they only have Goddard now. So you got to get a little more creative in the red zone.
Had one catch last game. Come on,
you never know.
He had one catch.
You never know. You never know. You could maybe see someone else pop up.
Rogers, right?
Isn't Terry Jackson coming back eventually?
Yeah,
eventually.
Richard Rodgers here and Tyree Jackson. Yep.
He's still on the active roster. Hell, he's still on the. They're going to bring him back at some point based on his injury status. But yeah, man, if they can just get in the red zone, stay down on the penalties, I think they're going to move the ball fine. For me, the key is going to be on defense. If Gannon goes back to this shit with the 2 deep safeties off my TV screen, I'm gonna lose my shit, because he's afraid of the deep ball, and they got some deep ball guys because Herbert's got the arm. So again, man, just do what you did in Detroit. Challenge these dudes, man. Get in their face. Let Slay and them guys get up there and be physical, because Avonte Maddox too is having a great season.
He's
impressing me, because I was down on Avonte Maddox, but I also was down on him because he was in a bad role. He was being used incorrectly. And it was interesting. You're hoping to see him. I said it as soon as Steven Nelson was signed. The biggest benefactor of Steven Nelson being signed was Avonte Maddox, because he gets to go back to his natural slot / hybrid safety role, which is where he excels.
And listen,
I got the Eagles.
I'm thrilled about Darius Slay, and he's really come along. And I've seen some numbers that were posted. They can't throw against him, and he's picking the ball off a little bit more. I just want to see him continue to do that, be that lockdown corner on the top receiver, and just one less thing you got to worry about. I was kind of really down on him. He only had 1 pick last year, but a lot of people said, well, they weren't thrown to his side. I think he stepped up his game this year, and I think it
Absolutely.
does help having Maddox back in the slot and having Nelson on the other side.
All right, John.
I
So
got
what's
the
your
Eagles
final
winning
score prediction then?
23-19 Birds.
23. You got a little lower than most. 23-19.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, I see we all still in that general area. If we can keep that within the 20s,
So actually, so you guys are. So I always write down. So if you guys haven't watched my show before, I always write down 2 or 3 scores before the show because I'm not at Wednesday. I'm not sure 100%.
Yeah.
I use my guess and the people that are on the show with me to help convince me of one way or the other. And the one thing I wrote down was 27 points for the Eagles. I think that's about what they can get against the Chargers. If they run the ball a little bit more, with a little bit more pass mixed in, they can't put up 44 against the Chargers. Chargers defense is a little bit better than Detroit. I know they're bad against the run, but they blitz well. They get pressure after the quarterback. We're not going to put up 44 against the Chargers offense or defense. So I put down 27 points. That's about what I expect the Eagles to score. Now, my question was, and I wrote down 21, 24, and 31. What do the Eagles defense hold the Chargers to? But you guys all have the Eagles holding the Chargers. I think, AB, you said 21. You're the most. You had the highest point scored, for the Chargers. So maybe that 27-21 that I wrote down right here, maybe that should be my prediction for the week.
I mean, listen, that worked because I just look at it as like, if we're gonna win this game, you can't have a game where Justin Herbert is out there just going willy-nilly and Austin Eckler. So you're gonna have to keep them under 30 points because I don't see us having to come back and make sure we score over 30. Because once that happens, now you just got them teeing back and they just going after Jalen. Jalen running all over the place trying to make something happen. So if you can keep that under 30, I think we got a chance. Like you said, keep the ball out of Justin Herbert's hand, control the clock. Try to manage
Win
that
the turnover battle. That's something they did last week, and it made a difference. Winning the turnover battle. People preach about it, but then you don't realize how important it is till you actually win the turnover battle after not for so long, and then you realize, like, wow, that actually makes that much of a difference.
And I tell you one thing, is I know we short on time. I tell you one thing. One, Justin Herbert, he has that arm talent. He's good at throwing the ball, so he's going to throw the ball. So there's going to be opportunities out there for them to make plays. So if we can keep
your hands up,
down,
exactly. That's where it happens. All right, while we're waiting for Kareem to come on, he's going to be on in the next 2 or 3 minutes here. Y'all can get like a minute here. We got the Chargers, and we got the Broncos, Saints, and then we go that Giants, Jets, Washington, Giants, Washington stretch. Wrap it up against Dallas. My overreaction Monday comment after the Detroit win, and everybody didn't understand. I put the words overreaction Monday at the top of the tweet, and everybody freaked out at me. Like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, it's an overreaction, but because of Detroit, but whatever. I said we can win at least 5 more games. That was my overreaction comment, and get to a above 500 team by the end of the season, maybe make the playoffs. Realistically, guys, we'll start with Mark real quick, then AB, then John to wrap it up. How many wins are we going to get to wrap up this season in these last, 3, 6, these last 9 games? Mark.
God, I think you're looking at.
Remember, we got Washington twice, we got Giants twice, we got the Jets. That's 5 really bad teams right there.
Yeah, but I think the Eagles are pretty bad too. Even though they're coming off a win, even though they might win, you're looking for maybe a 5-6 win team. I'm going to tell you what the big barometer is on how good or bad this team is when they play the Jets. The Eagles franchise is undefeated in its entire lifetime against the Jets. If they lose against the Jets, there's a huge problem with this organization. I think that is a game that you need to look at and see what the outcome is to determine what you're going to do with your quarterback, with your staff, with your defense, and things like that. I'm being flat out honest. That I believe the Jets is the barometer.
Okay. Hey, Big.
I'm going to be here first to tell you this, just like I told people about the Lions. We ain't losing to those stinking Jets. I'll let you know that, right?
Hey, what's his name? Mr. White, whatever his name was. 405 yards last week.
I don't care if we put 5, 6, or 700. We are not losing to no Jets. I can tell you that right now. And if I do, rewind this tape and tell
I will.
But Just looking at it, and you brung it up. Don't we have the Saints? We don't have the Saints this year, do we? I don't remember the schedule on top of my head. We do have the Saints, right?
Yeah, we got them in
So
a couple weeks. So we got the Chargers,
yeah,
Broncos, then Saints.
Saints. Okay. So with me, I don't want to be Mr. Optimistic and positive, but I just look at it. There's a real chance to make some waves and make some noise coming down the stretch because of it's football. Things happen, injuries, downward play, whatever it might be. So you name those. We know this week could probably be a tough test, but you got Denver. Okay, then you have the Saints. They just lost Jameis Winston for the year, ACL tear. So we don't even know who's going to play quarterback for them. It could be Tyson Hill or I don't even know who the other quarterback was.
Who
Then, like you
knows?
said,
Trevor
you have
Siemian, that's the other
Trevor
quarterback.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like
All right.
that. Come on. And then, like you
So
said,
how many
Giants.
wins do we got?
So for me, I would lean for that 5.
All right, 5 more wins. That's a 9-8 season. John, what do you got here as we wrap this segment up?
I got us winning 5 games. So we're going to beat the Broncos. We're going to beat the Giants twice. We'll split with Washington, and then we'll beat the Jets. Washington always plays pretty tough. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about the Giants. We kind of got the Giants number. I think we'll win 5 more games. And I think the key player for the Chargers game, real quick, just keep an eye on Trey Edwards, the way that dude's been playing, man. And
Yes,
I think
sir.
I'm writing it down. Trey Edwards.
Trey Edwards.
All right, Mark, AB, John, thank you so much for joining me. This has been a blast. The first DSM Media trending for 4 quarters fan forum for the Eagles. It's been awesome. I appreciate it, guys, all your time. Make sure everybody watching, check out our Twitter page. I'm going to tag all of them. Make sure you all give them a follow. Let's listen to what these new up and coming guys have to say, and maybe you might see these guys on DSM Media again soon.
Absolutely, I'd love to be back.
All right,
Anytime, man.
All right, thank you very much. Y'all have a good night.
Be great, guys.
All
right, thank you. All right, everybody. So that was the fan forum section of the show. Now we're going to bring in our next special guest here. Very special guest. I was chatting with him a little earlier today. This is Kareem Leaver. Is it Leaver?
What's up? How's it going?
Is it Kareem Leaver? Do I say your name right there?
Wait, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know
you
what's
got your
going
phone
on.
mute or?
Yeah, I can't hear you at all.
Oh, man, I can hear you loud and clear here. Hold on. We're live here right now, so, everybody watching, bear with us. I got to send him a message real quick here. Anyway, we're live here on DSM Media. Make sure you hang in here for a second. We're working out these kinks. This is what live podcasting is all about. Just got to send him a quick message here. Oh man, it's not muted. Oh man, why don't you? Yeah, I was just say log out, log back in, see what happens here. Anyway, this gives me an opportunity to promote Manscaped, who is our sponsor. Use the promo code trending at checkout, get you 20% off and free shipping. Trying to work these details out with Kareem. I'm really excited to interview him because I really want to talk to him and see what he's got to say about his journey in football. And let's see what we got here. Can you hear me, Kareem?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, there we got it. All right, so this is Kareem. Is it Leaver?
Leaver, yeah, correct.
Leaver. All right, you're one of the clients of Pro Level Sports Agency. I've been doing some work with them, and you're the first one of their clients I've had on the show. So I'm really excited for an opportunity to chat with you here a little bit.
Yeah. It's been nice. They've been looking out for me so far. Great agency. They putting me first. It feels good.
There's some dude. Since I've hooked up with Buddy and Gabe and Hope and all those people and started working with them and Vince, it's like I see the family that they are, and there's some great people right there.
Yeah, definitely some great people. Definitely talk every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm changing the background to their logo here just to help promote them and all because I love what they're doing and everything. So just tell everybody that's watching right now a little bit about yourself. And we talked a little bit before. You're from Brooklyn originally. You went to Delaware State University at first. Just give everybody that's watching a little bit of a background of who you are and your football journey thus far in life.
All right, yeah. So it starts out in Brooklyn. Originally from Brownsville in Brooklyn. You know, a tough, gritty neighborhood, but you know they get stuff done. Well, yeah. Started out playing football when I was 4 years old. Obviously, I played flag at first. It
Yeah,
didn't work.
that out of the conversation we had before, why you got kicked off the flag football team is the favorite thing you've told me so far.
Yeah, I couldn't stop tackling everybody. You know, everybody. I didn't want to grab flags.
Oh man, I love that dude. When I literally had to stop working for a minute because I was laughing so hard when you said that.
Yeah. They did not like that. Parents hated me, but you know. But yeah, I end up after 9/11, I ended up moving up to Binghamton, New York, and I just played football upstate till I graduated high school, and then actually moved to North Carolina for half a year and played football in Charlotte.
Okay.
Then I ended up going to Delaware State. Actually, then I once I got to Delaware State, I ended up missing the whole preseason camp because my friend had passed away, so I was gone handling that stuff. So when I came back, I was ineligible for the first game. I couldn't play. I think we played Monmouth, but then the next game after that, we played the University of Delaware. I was like, at that time, I probably was the ninth linebacker, you know.
Oh, wow.
And then true story. So the starters in front of me, they all end up having stomach problems, so they didn't make the game. So now I'm the second string backer, and they're like, you know, someone gets hurt, you got to go in. I don't know any other plays. I don't know what's going on. So the starter at the time, he gets hurt, so then I have to go in. I end up leading the team in tackles. I mean, we still lost the game, but I ended up leading the team in tackles. It was my first ever college game. You know, got thrown right into the fire, and then from there, yeah.
I love that. The one thing, I mean, I watched all the highlight videos that are on the Pro Level Sports Agency page and on YouTube that I could find. And you say you led the team in tackles. Well, the one thing I saw in every highlight video of yours that I could find is, dude, you're a tackling machine.
Yeah,
there's not many. No, I'm not trying to say this in a mean way. That there's not many, you know, videos of you in pass coverage.
Yeah,
you are behind the line of scrimmage. You're sacking the quarterback. You're tackling the running backs. You just have like a nose for the football and getting after whoever's got that ball.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it since 4 years old, you know, so.
That's how you got kicked off your first team.
Yeah, been ready to go for a long time, but I mean, I've been working on my pass coverage, like
I was trying to say you can't do it or anything. Yeah,
the college bowl games. You know, I did a lot of pass coverage and had to work with the great Mike Singletary on that. You know,
awesome.
He got me right, so yes, I could cover.
What was it like working with somebody? I mean, Hall of Fame type of linebacker like that. You know, probably one of the greatest linebackers of all time, right there.
Yeah, I mean, first off, he's brutally honest. Like he let you know. Like
we've all seen his videes.
Yeah, you know, he is brutally honest.
When he was with 49ers.
He's a great guy though. You know, he used to actually stay after practice with us and put in the extra work. You know, without the scouts being around and everything. Got to talk to him one-on-one for about an hour and a half. You know, he's a great guy. He took his time out of his day to, you know, give me some pointers and everything. Help me with my footwork.
I mean, that's just legendary getting to work with somebody like that. You know, you can't discount the knowledge that you can gain from a guy like that at all.
Yeah, no, he knows it all.
I mean, I'll be brutally honest here. When I was a kid growing up, I'm a little older than you. There were two linebackers. There were two players in general that scared me, and they were both linebackers. It was Mike Singletary and Lawrence Taylor. They were just two guys that, when I was a kid growing up, learned how to play football and learning the game. Dude, I'd watch them on Sundays, and I'd be like, dude, I hope I don't ever run into those guys. There's some scary boys right there.
Yeah,
they were just hard-nosed, great, you know, and they're great guys. I don't want to, you know, say they're scary guys, but, you know, there's some legit linebackers there that can really put the boom on you.
Yeah, and he still got it because he was going through the bags. He was showing us the bag drills. He definitely still got it at his age. He could probably still play a little bit.
Yeah, don't talk about us old people. We can still go us old people, all right?
Yeah.
So continuing your journey at Delaware State, you know, you had mentioned you had a really serious injury there, you know, in your career there at Delaware State.
Oh yeah. So you know, after my freshman year, because I played as a true freshman. After my freshman year, they got rid of our coaches and then brought in some new ones. So we were like still doing old school like Oklahoma drills and everything. So we used to practice at 5 in the morning, and I mean, something already fell off in the day. I mean, it's 5 in the morning, everything's gonna fell off. But yeah, I was doing Oklahoma first day of hitting. First group we go in. I made the tackle the first time, but I did something wrong. Coach came and corrected me on it. So the second time I went to correct my mistake, and the whole pile just falls on me, and then my leg just keeps turning and turning and turning. Yeah. So then I get up. I'm all excited. I made the tackle, looking around, and everyone's just running away from me. They're like, pointing at me. I didn't notice it yet, and I just start limping. I'm like, ow, it hurts. So then I look down, and I just dropped. I'm like, oh, man. It was tough.
So you broke your leg in, what was it? You said like 12 different spots?
12 different places. Yeah, I had like little fragments. X-rays was crazy.
Dude. Yeah. I mean, for those that have been following me for a long time, they know I went through something similar. I was playing an intramural game in college, and I got clipped from behind, and it broke both my fibula and tibia.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that bad until, you know how like the camaraderie, people like come over to pick you up.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, stop being on the ground crying like a baby. And they picked me up, but my leg couldn't actually hold me. So when they picked me up, I fell over, and my leg actually folded in half.
Wow.
And my heel touched my kneecap. It was really gross. So I know what that experience is like.
Yeah, that is.
Man, you had, and you still have, I shouldn't say had, you have football aspirations. Me, I was just a dumb college kid playing pickup football. I can only imagine the instant thoughts in your head about, man, my career is over right now.
Yeah, I was in denial for a couple of months. I was like, I could get back. So I worked really hard actually over the summer. I worked hard. I actually didn't get to go back to school. I stayed home and literally worked with like physical therapists. It was no doubt in my mind I was going to make it back, but end up having nerve damage. And then, I guess it was a blessing in disguise, because if I'd have went and played, my career definitely would be over right now.
The people that don't understand that, it's kind of similar to like what Alex Smith went through and Joe Theismann. They're the real famous quarterbacks that had really serious leg breaks. The nerve damage issues are the hardest parts of it all to overcome. Outside of the initial infections and stuff like that, the nerve damage. I mean, the pain you feel and the weird sensations you feel, throughout that whole entire process, it's something that nobody's prepared for whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely. And I was definitely wasn't prepared for it. I had hoping on coming back and playing again, and then that happens, took me out. I was kind of down for a little bit, but I worked through it.
Then you worked through it, then you went back to a Division III school after you eventually were able to get back to playing, right?
When I was healthy enough to come back, I found out I wasn't eligible to play Division I anymore. But Division III gave me like 3 years to play.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll take it. Why not? Shoot. So
I went from a Division I school to a Division III school too. So there's nothing wring with us little tiny Division III.
Yeah,
schools.
a little small market, but still gets the job done. So I end up getting a call from Coach Fox up at Brockport, and out right outside of Rochester, New York, and he's like, yeah, we just went 13-1. I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way. You gotta tell me no more. Let's go ahead and win something.
I'm on my way.
Yeah, I'm on my way already. So I come to camp, right? This is where the story gets good. Come to camp, and they're doing physicals. It's like 2018. 2018. We're doing physicals, and the trainer goes, why is your ankle always swollen? I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. I broke my leg in the past. He was like, all right, well, let's just get it checked out. And then come to find out, my leg's still broke in 3 places. So I've practiced all summer on a broken leg. Didn't even know. So then I had to. I ended up still playing the whole season on a broken leg. I just played because I wasn't in that.
You weren't gonna miss that opportunity.
Yeah, I wasn't missing that opportunity. So I ended up playing the whole season. But I would walk around campus in my boot and like sleep in my boot. But practice, I'll take my boot off. Games, I'll take my boot off playing the games. And actually, my first game there, I made a bet with a couple of my teammates. I'm like, yeah, if they let me play this game, I'm definitely gonna score. And they're like, no, just be quiet, bro. Like you're not gonna do that. So sure enough, they put me in the game, and first possession, called a pick 6. So I had to rub it in everyone's face.
Oh man, that's awesome. You left that out in the little conversation there that we had before the show.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that. Where I need the game footage on that one is what I need to find.
Oh yeah. I'll send it to you. Send it over to
I
you.
need to see that game footage. So just tell me a little bit about the mental aspect of, I mean going from 2015 to 2018 to a new school, and then to this point now that you're trying to continue your career professionally, and with that injury, it's got to be tough mentally though. Do you get down on yourself? There's a lot of talk in sports right now about the mental and the aspect of things and the depression aspect of things and trying to overcome all that kind of stuff. How do you deal with that and handle that?
I mean, it was definitely tough because I also have two younger brothers who play in college football now, and it was just like it was tough because they're having signing days and obviously I'm gonna go support them, but it's still like, wow, like I'm supposed to be playing still too,
Yeah.
So it's like they're all going off to school and I'm home, still trying to get back. But I mean, they kept me grounded. Like they would come home, work out with me, run drills with me, do things like that. But they're both offensive guys. They play receiver, so all they want to do is footwork and everything.
I was just gonna say, did you enjoy tackling them growing up?
Oh,
I mean, I got three brothers, so we played a lot of pickup football in the backyard growing up, and I was always the biggest brother, so I was always the one hitting them the hardest. So,
well, I'm the middle brother, but yeah, we used to take them out, bring them out, hit them in the fences wherever we played football. They got hit.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
All
right, so where's your journey at now? I mean, I know Pro Sports, agency. They represent a whole bunch of different, players at different levels that are looking to get to different types of professional leagues and stuff like that. Where are you now with your journey now?
Right now, I'm still talking to teams. I talked to a few CFL teams last week actually, but on the downtime, I opened up a gym actually, so I'm staying in shape using my own.
Are you still in Are you still up in upstate New York right now?
Still up in upstate New York in Binghamton.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty cool experience. I still trying to play football though, but I know I could play at the highest level.
Okay.
But yeah, right now.
What would you say if any scout from any team in any league is watching this right now? What would you tell them to be like, yo, you need to give me a shot right now, and this is the reason why?
I mean, it's getting cold out. Players don't like to tackle when they get cold. I'm used to it. Let's go.
I love that. Yeah, I spent one weekend of my life in Rochester, New York, and it gets cold as hell up there.
Yeah,
so if you're tackling
cold
up there, you can tackle anywhere else because that's the coldest place right there.
Yeah, it's definitely very windy, very cold. It's always raining and snowing. It's actually snowed this morning.
I remember going up there one weekend, and it was like 6 inches of snow.
Yeah,
and the town didn't shut down. It was just like a normal day in life. I'm in Philadelphia, and 6 inches of snow, city shut down. There ain't nobody going anywhere. Schools are closed. Businesses are closed. It's a snow day. 6 inches of snow up in Rochester, that's just another walk in the park.
Yeah, the kids still go to school on time and everything,
I love it. I love it. So, I mean, I know the Pro Sports Agency, I mean, they represent, clients that are going to all different kinds of football leagues, not just regular traditional leagues. Have you looked at it playing in any of the indoor leagues or any of the other leagues that they've got, player reps at?
I've been contacted by a few indoor leagues from both. What was it? The CIF.
I know Gabe coaches the CIF. Yeah,
both of them, and I've it's intriguing. I talked to a couple head coaches. They sound like legit. Like
I think that would be a really tough transition going from the traditional outdoor 11 on 11 to the indoor league's a little different. It's faster. Some of the leagues have different amount of players on the field. But I guess, when it comes down to it, football is football still, right? It's tackling, it's hitting, it's going after the ball wherever it is.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's not really going to change that much. I've been playing it 20 years now. It's pretty easy at this point.
There you go. I do know in the beginning when we were first chit-chatting off the air, you said you're a lifelong Jets fan, right?
Absolutely.
That sounds so depressing.
Hey.
Well, let me put my Eagles hat on here.
The Jets, you seeing this? Give me a call.
I'm going to tag some Jets. I know a few Jets reporters. I'm going to tag them. We'll make sure we get this video out to some Jets.
Give me a call.
So
ready.
before you came on, the last 3 guests I had on, it was just like I brought on some of my fans. I have like a little fan forum round table and all. And we were talking about the Eagles and the Eagles' rest of their season that's upcoming. And we got the Jets in 5 weeks. We're playing the Jets.
Okay.
And the one fan brought up a thing that the Jets have never, ever in the history of the Jets beaten the Philadelphia Eagles.
Really?
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't even know that. I'm a 40-year-old Eagles fan that's been an Eagles fan my whole life. I did not know we have never lost to the New York Jets.
You might have just jinxed them there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really, really good at that, actually. Pretty much if I bet on you or pick you in fantasy or do anything, you know, that's the end of your career or game or your win streak, whatever. So what do you think of the – I mean, this is a sports network more so than just a Philly sports network.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Jets and, you know, Robert Saleh, their new head coach, and what they're trying to build there? I know, you know, Zach Wilson's hurt right now, but, I mean, you got a young up-and-coming quarterback. Are you a fan of what the Jets' direction is going right now?
I mean, yeah, you know, the Jets always like have a pretty decent defensive line. You know, secondary is looking a lot better than last year. I'm optimistic. I think, you know, they're headed in the right direction.
I'll tell you, I mean, Robert Saleh, that was the coach I wanted the Eagles to hire in the offseason. I loved his intensity. I'm a defensive guy. If I played professional football, I would have been a linebacker as well or a defensive tackle. I love that, you know, in the trenches kind of football. And Robert Saleh he kind of represents that kind of style of football, that old school style. So I think you guys got a gem of a head coach there.
I mean, I know they could win. You know, they beat the Titans and they beat Cincinnati. So
nobody saw them beating Cincinnati last week. Nobody.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see it. But
yeah.
Any given Sunday, you know.
Do you keep up on the Eagles at all, or do you know what's going on with the Eagles?
You guys did a number on the Lions last week.
We absolutely did do a number on the Lions last week.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Eagles fans that are watching this show, the one thing that the Eagles have never done is valued the linebacker position, like the organization as a whole at this point. I mean, Jeremiah Trotter, you know, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that was the last time they drafted a linebacker of any significance. I mean, they've just been going they've pieceworked that position together for a very long time.
Yeah.
Why do you think some teams, and it seems like a trend in the NFL, you see less teams focus on the linebacker? Why do you think that is?
I mean, they know, you know, to be a linebacker, you got to be hungry. So they know anyone they get is obviously going to be hungry. You know, they're going to want to hit. And I think maybe organizations feel like, you know, they don't really have to draft them because there's a lot of us around, you know.
A lot of you looking for work, right?
Yeah. Dude,
I'm telling you, I like I said, when I watch some of your highlights on YouTube, man, I'm like, dude, the Eagles need somebody that can hit and tackle like you can. Our linebacker crew, it's weak. Our linebacker crew is really weak at this moment.
Hey, just tell them, give me a call. I'm waiting.
I don't have a direct line to Howie Roseman because I bashed him way too many times on way too many shows, so he won't listen to me. But we'll try to tell the right people to tell the right people, you know, to give you a call.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Hey, anything else you want to talk about, or tell the people that are watching about you, your life, and what you're all about before we wrap this show up?
You know, my life it's been up and down. You know, like everyone's life has been. You know, dealing with, you know, outside of football, like just trying to stay away from the violence and all that stuff that's going on in the streets. Yeah, where I lived, it was pretty hard. High school was tough. You know, got the older guys trying to tell you to skip practice, and over the summer we used to have our double sessions didn't start till 12, so they should try to have us out all night. But I mean, stay grounded. You know, just love the game too much to get caught up in that stuff. You know.
That's awesome right there. Yeah, I mean, the world needs more peace, love, and understanding. In my opinion, you know, in all different walks of life, there's way too much negativity. I always preach, and it's a cheesy line. It really is, but I always preach the power of positivity. You know what I mean? Because there's way too much negative, and there's way too much, you know, bad stuff going on. And if we all just get along and all just focus on our goals and dreams, the world would be a lot better of a place.
Definitely.
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 Well, Kareem, I appreciate you coming on so much. This has been a blast. First off, as soon as you said about your leg injury, I know it's a depressing thing to think about.
Yeah.
I'm like, I instantly connect with you since I did it, and I had the walking boot on for 6 straight months. I didn't walk anywhere or do anything without that walking boot for 6 months. So I understand your journey to get to where you are right now. And anybody that watches this video, they just got to understand that you obviously have some heart and determination to get where you want to go. If you're willing to go through that injury just to come back to play, go from Division 1 to Division 3, just to play, that just shows heart, determination, and a love of the game.
Definitely. Yeah. I'll probably never stop loving the game, It's in my blood.
Yeah. I was always told football was too dangerous for me, but it never stopped my love of it. And then I broke my leg playing football. My mom's like, yes, I told you.
Yeah, just got to control that violence,
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, again, you're Kareem Leaver. You're a pro sports agency client. They can find you on Twitter at KLeaver. That's LEAVER 33 if they want to follow your journey over there. And you said you started a gym. What's the name of your gym out there?
It's just called Forest Gym.
Forest Gym?
Yeah.
And it's in what is it again?
Binghamton, New York.
Binghamton, New York. Yeah. Anybody that's up in that region, make sure you check it out. Dude, you got a fan here. I'm rooting for you to get a shot, whether it's in whatever league it is.
I appreciate it.
This is DSM Media. This is Trending for 4 Quarters. Again, brought to you by Manscaped. Use promo code TRENDING at checkout for 20% off. This is Kareem. Thanks to my earlier guests, John, Mark, and AB. We'll see you again tomorrow morning for Trending in the AM. The morning show, we'll be recapping the Sixers and Bulls game from tonight and some other great content. Kareem, thank you very much. And everybody have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.